Hey, good evening, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing great. Uh, this video, I just wanted to share our newest platform that me and Richard Gorn built together. It is elitepedigrees.com. We built this out of really out of necessity because over the years I've used a lot of other products that I won't name them, but they're lacking. They're very hard to use. And there's a lot of manual entries that I spent hours and hours trying to enter new birds into the pedigree program. And as you guys know, I buy a lot of birds, and it's just very time consuming to not only enter the pedigree but also to manage breeding and all that stuff, the loft management piece of it. So I decided to build our own. So, but I wanted to show you elite pedigrees here. So here's if you go to elitepedigrees.com, you'll see here's the front page, and there's also a Spanish version. I know a lot of where I live here in Florida, there's a lot of Spanish speaking people. So figure make it easier for everyone. As you can see, it's you just hit the toggle switch and it converts to Spanish, and that's throughout the page. For instance, if I go to contacts, right? So um, so I'm going to go ahead and log in, and as you can see here, here are my birds that I've entered already, and you can. This is the main section where you manage your birds. So you can these are clickable, and you can say if it's dead, missing, whatever. And as you can see, when you hover over the line item, it also shows you the parents, which is so helpful, by the way, because some of these birds I don't know unless you show me the parents, right? So, for example, here are my 2026 birds. I don't know what pond 7 is, but if I hover over it, I see, oh yeah, that's IF22 Rich. I know exactly who the parents are. And of course, you can delete them. And this little heart here is if you want to pair this bird up with whatever. But we'll cover that in a different section. Today, I just want to give you a highlight of the features and the functionality. We won't go in too deep into a lot of things, but just a highlight and overall features and functionality of the site. In the breeding section, this is where you can add a pair, so like cock, hen, whatever, and all that other information, and it'll create you a breeding pair. And once you create for example, this one here, have a breeding pair, you can add a chick, right? So you add a chick, and then if you follow this format, like for instance, AU 2026, and then I have a nomenclature, which is pond for ponderosa, and then four. And once you leave that, see how it it kind of pre-formats it, so it looks nice. It's all capitalized and everything. So, um, and then you just hit. I won't actually do it again. Just a highlight. When you add the chick, it's going to show up here, and then you can edit the chick. You know, vaccination, all that stuff, the sex, the color, things like that. Um, Optionally, you can do also scan a pair. So, like if you have paper pedigree, you can click here and upload. I won't do it, but you can upload the. If you have a cell phone, this will actually give you the option to take a picture of the pedigree, the paper pedigree, and you scan it. it scans the cock first, and then it'll instruct you to next to scan the hen, and then it creates a pair for you automatically, which is kind of nice. Um, but that's not the obviously that's not the only way to do it. You can just add a pair and then obviously select the cock and hen through here, right? So um, let's see. So that's breeding, and it's organized by year. You know, and then there's the racing section. Here's where you could, you know, as you can see here, I have a one loft. Um, I've entered. These are the birds that I've entered, or that I'm sending 2026. The various different OLRs. Um, Here's another cool thing. For instance, once you select your birds through here, for instance, let's see here. Um, Add a bird, for example, right? And then you can type in the, you know, it automatically searches. You see that? And then you select the bird or whatever, right? We won't actually do it because I already done that here. For instance, here's the birds I'm sending to Crooked River, or I have sent to Crooked River. But if I was sending this, I I already created a pre-filled an entry form which I downloaded from their site, and as you can see here, it creates that, and you can just print it out and include it in the box or whatever. But it includes all your loft name and everything, and then the birds that you have that you're sending, which is kind of nice, right? You don't have to fill it out by hand. And if again, if you wanted to enter a bird, you just or a race, you just do that, and then select the race that you want to enter in here. So, so that's the racing section, and there's also the club and combine race section. I'll give you an example. Well, I don't really have an example, but one of the other features in here too is that it automatically knows, what birds you have available for racing. So you just have to read the kind of the notes here. It includes every active birds in your loft. Birds marked dead, lost, sold. Those are not. It's smart enough to not include it. So, but basically, any bird that's in your loft will be in here, and it's fair game. You can race them, not race them, but you select it, and you just hit assign to race, and automatically does it for you. And then obviously add a season. You know, we can say SCR 2026, whatever. Save a season. You can see here, it's right there, and you can add a race. The race points. Um, Orlando. You know, oh, let's say 150 miles, right? So release points. Oh, yeah. So yeah, get the dates, and then um, results. This is where you could you can enter your bird as far as how well they did and everything. Save result. And by the way, once you do that, this is kind of cool. Um, let's just say pond 43. Let's say I place first. Um, Birds in the club. Let's say there's 242 birds. And in the combine, let's just say I place second, and there's 5,300, whatever. Yards per minute. Um, you know, say results. Um, and then uh, uh, yeah, so it's pretty easy to enter it. Um, and I think if you had um, more results, for instance, if I did, I'm just gonna pick. Uh, let's see. Oh, here we go. That's what I was looking for. So, so you can see here, I have two birds. I probably should have made them equal, but you can. This is pretty cool, right? So you can kind of see for that particular race, it kind of tells it. It shows you it's like an Olympic style podium based on the yards per minute, which one's first, second, whatever. But that's just fun thing to do. But really, this is what matters, right? The actual race results. So um, let's see. So that's the racing part. Let's see. And then import. If you have pedigree program from these other places, you can import them as well. So, and this one, I always tell people, I probably should put something in here where I just say, hey, email me your database if you get confused, because I know a lot of guys are not tech savvy. So, I don't expect them to, because this has a bit of a learning curve to it. You have to get the CSV file, and then, you got to select which bird you want to import, and then it gets even confusing with the XML. But it's not it's not rocket science. Uh, it's very easy to use, but I know again some of the guys are just not very tech savvy. So I want to add something in here where people can just send me their database and I'll import it for them. It'll take me like 2 minutes. Um, Here's another feature calendar that was asked, requested by one of our testers, Danza Loft, Steve from Danza Loft. Great tester, great guy, but he wanted something where he doesn't have to manage, his loft with manually, anyways, with paper, pencil, and so he wanted a calendar that he can look at his phone and say, yeah, you know what, I gotta vaccinate this bird, blah blah blah, or give him medicine. So it's just like a reminder kind of thing, which is a nice feature. Um, Contact, you can always contact us. Put your general inquiry there, and if you have any bug report, issues, or suggestions. By the way, I'm very open to any suggestions. I built this thing for you guys, so whatever you guys want, if it makes sense, and if it doesn't break anything else, I am happy to do it. Kind of like how Dan's Loft wanted a calendar. That was easy. It doesn't uh, get in the way of other things that are important. So happy to do that. Again, here's the key thing. I built this for you guys. So whatever works, whatever you guys want, just put it in there. It doesn't hurt, right? And again, if it makes sense, we'll do it. If it goes against the majority, then probably not going to happen. But yeah, if it makes sense and if it benefits the pigeon community, let's do it. And then my profile section is where you can update your personal information, address, things like that, and social media stuff. And then if you want a logo, you can put it in there. If you want to cancel your membership, hopefully you don't, you can click on that. Um, and that's about it. But here's the thing: I haven't shown you the best part. Over the years, it's very hard. Like I said, I built this thing because it's a lot of work to scan a new pedigree, and if you buy birds a lot, like I do, it's a pain. And nobody else has this technology, to my knowledge. I think maybe one other platform is starting to catch up now, but we're not worried about that. Again, I'm not going to name it, who they are. That's not nice. But um, check this out. So again, if this was on a phone, you can take a picture of the pedigree, but I'm not doing it on the phone. I'm doing it on my PC. So I just went ahead and downloaded a fake pedigree off the internet just to show you guys. But so you click that, you click on the pedigree. So it'll take PDF or PNG image file, and then check this out. I know this pedigree that we're using is in Belgian, so you can do a translate to English. Okay, and then when you hit extracting pedigree, this will take a couple minutes. You know, my internet is not great right now, so it might take a little longer. But as you know, there's a lot to scan, right? And it also has to figure out, um, you know, the lineage. So it does take a little while, a minute or a minute and a half. It always sits at 85%, and then it gets going. But so if you could bear with me here while this is doing that, and I'll keep talking about the other features. Again, nobody else has this functionality except maybe one other platform, but you know, I think they saw what we have, so they went ahead and implemented it. But that's good, right? Because we want to push people to improve and make the pigeon industry life a little bit easier for the fanciers, which is why we did this. Um, okay, there you go. So you can see that didn't take too long. This is in Belgium, and now this is not the actual pedigree. This is just kind of like showing you what it took in. But as you can see here, it translated it into English. I'll show you the original too in a minute, but see that translated it to English. Pretty cool, right? So this kind of just gives you like a preview. Um, but as you can see, it took the subject bird in, the mom or the dad, the mom, and the grandparents all the way through. So it's smart enough to do that. And then here, I also give you guys the option because a lot of times you don't really own the parents. So you don't want to import that into your loft because as you can see here, there's 27 birds altogether. You don't want that cluttering your database. So by default, this is going to only uh, import the subject bird, the actual bird uh, that you bought or whatever. But there are some cases where you do own the parents, right? So this gives you the option to select, like the mom, dad, or whichever bird you want to import into your loft, right? So, but in my case, I'm not gonna import any stuff because I don't own them. But I'm gonna save when I hit save my loft, um, or save to my loft. It's gonna import just this subject bird. So the bird that the pedigree is for, and this will just take a couple seconds. So here it tells you the subject bird is blue treasure. So I'll show you. So yeah, it shows you right there. And then that should now be in here. And if I check this out, blue treasure right there. And it even shows you the parents, like I said, right here in gray. And then you can say active racing, blah, 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 retired. Click on the bird. You can edit the bird some more, you add a picture if you want. But we won't cover that right now. What I'll show you is the pedigree. Look at that. And it's in English. Yep, it's in English. Look at that. And all the texts are auto formatted so it fits into the blocks. Um, but it won't make it too small that you can't read it. There's a limit to that. Um, and in here, you can choose different format, a different template, 5 gen with background, and obviously you can change the background. You can by clicking on that, you can get a background of your choosing, 3 gen performance. That's just a fake background that I is, but you might see this, but you can change it. So everything is changeable. The backgrounds are changeable, and then there's also large font template, which basically it's the same as the above here, but the text do not auto size. And we built this for people who obviously who can't see very well, and we don't want the text to be so small that they can't see it. So we built it like that, so you can see the texts are all the same. There are, I think, 8 points. Now it may look small here, but when you print it out, it's actually quite large. So, um, but yeah, you can go through when you create an account. You can go through all these um, templates. See that? Yeah. Again, that's just a fake one that I have. It's changeable. Another thing is you can change the color of the text or whatever. See that? So you can change the band number color. You can change the text color, which is the note section. You can change the border, the lines. Print it, save it as an image, email it to whoever. And then here's the bonus part. If you want to ever auction this, we have a sister platform, pigeonoasis.com. And if you ever want to say auction this bird, you can just hit that button. We'll cover this on another video, but you can just hit that button and it'll automatically transfer all that information about the bird to Pigeon Oasis, and then you just a few more clicks, start, enter some of the bidding information, whatever, and that's it. Your birds is in up there for auction. It's very easy to use. So, anyways, let's see what else I can go. Yeah, you can switch between 4 gen, 5 gen. Um, you can set the default template. In my case, I like this template, so that's my default. And as you can see, it colors it puts a light color, semi-transparent colored background. If it detects the same band number. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. And again, you can switch between English and Spanish. And then on the left side here, you can just toggle through all your pigeons. See that? You can toggle through them. Yep, change the color. Very nice. So again, this is built for you guys. I welcome any suggestions that you may have. Nothing is off the table. Again, if it goes against the mainstream, we'll have to think about that a little bit more. But anything that we, you know, that seem to that would be beneficial to the pigeon community, we'll definitely honor that. So, okay, guys, thanks for watching. God bless again, and hopefully I didn't go too quickly. There's a lot to cover, and if there's a particular section that you guys want to see more of, just let me know. Send me put it in the comment section, and yeah, hopefully. We're offering a 15-day free trial, and it's very inexpensive. Actually, it's like $50 for a year. Uh, it, it's very cheap. $50 for a year is it's nothing, right? But what's more important is that we build a platform that works for everyone, and you have my personal commitment that I will be very responsive to changes or suggestions that you may have. It's very easy for me. I've been doing technology for 30 years, so it's very easy for me to make changes and things like that. It's um, mostly, I've never shared this with anyone, but I built this thing while watching TV. At least 80% of it on a weekend while watching TV. And that's not a brag. I'm just letting you know that it's not a bother. If you want something and it makes sense, well, do it. Okay. God bless, guys. Thanks for watching.